Battle packs are an essential part of LEGO Star Wars. With a history of almost 2 decades, the newest addition to this line will be the Death Trooper and Night Trooper Battle Pack. It's not always been sunshine and butterflies though, which is why today we'll look at the highs and lows of the history of LEGO Star Wars Battle Packs. Tell me your favorite battle pack in the comments, strap in and let's get into it. In 2007, LEGO put out our first ever battle packs, being the Droids Battle Pack and the Clone Troopers Battle Pack. Both of these sets released for $10, which comes out to about $15.47 nowadays, which is kinda crazy considering how expensive battle packs are currently. The Droids Battle Pack actually featured 7 figures, making it the battle packs with the second most minifigs ever. As opposition to that, LEGO released the Clone Troopers Battle Pack, which included a 327 Starcore clone, a Shock Trooper and 2 regular Phase 2 clones. If the minifigure selection and build seem familiar, the Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack from last year has taken clear inspiration from these sets. The clone figure selection is almost the same, the unique clone speeder with back gunner appears in both, so does the stab, and the gun turret, and only the droid carrier was replaced by a Magna Tri-Droid. In 2008, LEGO released 2 of the most iconic battle packs ever, the Imperial Dropship and the Rebel Scout Speeder. There's no real in-universe scene that these sets were inspired by, but they did give buyers 4 Rebel Fleet Troopers, 3 regular Stormtroopers and a new Imperial Shadow Trooper. I can't pretend like I know why these sets became so iconic, but their impact is everlasting, with the Imperial Dropship being one of the sets remade for celebrating the 20th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars and the Imperial Dropship vs Rebel Scout Speeder being a 25th anniversary set. LEGO continued this trend of 2 opposing battle packs per year until 2012. While some really weren't that good, like the Assassin Droid Battle Pack, and others were kinda forgettable, like the Snow Trooper or Rebel Trooper Battle Pack, there were also some real bangers. The Clone Walker Battle Pack is probably the most beloved battle pack ever, and I can confirm I loved this set as a kid. The ability to outfit one of your clones with extra gear to make him a commander was pretty sick, and Clone Wars stayed on that grind in 2011. While the Clone Trooper Battle Pack gave us 2 Bomb Squad Troopers for whatever reason, as well as an amazing Horn Company Trooper and our first ever ARF clone, the highlight of that year was definitely the Mandalorian Battle Pack. Not only did you get 4 identical Death Watch Warriors, which are like the only Mandalorian faction you can actually properly army build, you also got a classic speeder, a little turret and a sniper rifle. When it comes to builds and battle packs, this is definitely one of the better ones and might have also served as an inspiration for 2020's Mandalorian Battle Pack. The course of Star Wars battle packs then shifted in 2012 and 2013. No longer did LEGO release a battle pack for each opposing side, now you got both factions in one battle pack. This resulted in 4 sets over the course of 2 years, depicting scenes from vastly different settings. The Clone Troopers vs Droidekas was a clear lowlight here, since the Droidekas were obviously brick built and not really army buildable. The Endor Rebel Trooper vs Imperial Trooper battle pack was honestly kinda forgettable, but the Republic Troopers vs Sith Troopers was a highlight, giving us some new Old Republic minifigs, of which we needed more anyways. Most paradoxically successful of all though was the Elite Clone Trooper and Commando Droid Battle Pack. While on paper only a single figure, the Ranker Battalion ARF Trooper, was fit for army building, this set is still incredibly beloved because of its second figure. It remains as the only set to ever feature an early ARC Trooper, and the Dark Red remains as a rather rare color for clone minifigs. 2014 was probably the best year for Star Wars battle packs. In total 3 of them were released that year, and we are not counting the battle on Seleucami. While the Death Star Troopers was rather mediocre, only including figures no one wanted to army build, the Kashyyyk Troopers and Utapau Troopers were 2 of the best battle packs of all time. Both provided fans with very army buildable figures and were the first to introduce the live action look. Phase 2 clones would be following until 2020. It's hard to pick a favorite from these 2, and the answer to that question differs from person to person, mostly just based on their favorite clone legion. Following 2014, LEGO found its rhythm with 4 battle packs per year until 2019, resulting in 16 sets in the span of 4 years. I'm not going to talk about every single one, but there are some I want to highlight, whether it be for their quality or because they were incredibly stupid. In 2015, LEGO released both the Senate Commando Troopers and the Geonosis Troopers. The latter one featured a clone legion we never actually saw in canon, but is still incredibly cool and is very reminiscent of the Kashyyyk Troopers battle pack, while the Senate Commando Troopers updated the previous Senate Commando design and made them widely available. 2016 saw only Battlefront 1 sets in the Rebel Alliance and Galactic Empire Battle Pack. Both of these were fantastic and had great minifigure selections. The Galactic Empire Battle Pack gave us 2 battle damaged jetpack troopers as well as our only Imperial Shock Trooper to date, and the Rebel Alliance Battle Pack included not just a new Rodian but also Duros, of which we've only gotten Cat Bane otherwise. While 2017 had 3 pretty good battle packs in the Rebel Trooper, Imperial Trooper and First Order Transport Speeder Battle Pack, it also had one of the worst ever, the Bounty Hunter Speeder Bike Battle Pack. A battle pack featuring 4 named characters defeats the whole purpose of a battle pack. As a singular set, it is awesome, and I bought it too, but as a battle pack, it makes no sense whatsoever. 2018 followed that up with an array of disappointing battle packs too, like the First Order Specialists, Tatooine and Jedi and Clone Troopers battle pack. The last of those, again, featured 2 named characters, Ki-Adi-Mundi and Barriss Offee. Only the Imperial Patrol battle pack was a highlight, coming with 2 Imperial Patrol Troopers which had entirely new helmet molds. LEGO decided to dial it back in 2019 and only released 2 proper battle packs that year, as well as the 20th anniversary edition Imperial Dropship. That set was a remake of 2008's Imperial Dropship and pretty much just improved on all aspects of the original. As part of the 20th anniversary line, it also came with a Han Solo anniversary minifig and was the most expensive battle pack up to that point as well. So far I've conveniently ignored all the pricing since 2007, since it really wasn't too much of an issue. From 2007 up to now, no battle pack crossed the $15 threshold, at least in the US. 2019's Imperial Dropship was the first to ever do so, with a retail price of $20. The other two sets though, the Elite Praetorian Guard and Inferno Squad battle pack, kept the $15 price tag though. As much as I love to see some Battlefront 2 representation, the Inferno Squad battle pack was the third battle pack in 3 years to feature named characters. This isn't always a horrible thing, as we'll see in 2023, but Inferno Squad figures also aren't very suitable for army building. Then 2020 came around and we got two battle packs to start off the year. The Sith Trooper battle pack was rather disappointing, but the Mandalorian battle pack, even though not terrifically suited for army building, was a nice addition to the line. 2020's big shakeup happened in the summer though. If you were active in the LEGO community around 2018 to 2019, you were inevitably confronted with the words
501st Battle Pack.
There was a huge movement among fans, spearheaded by M&R Productions, to push LEGO to finally release a 501st battle pack. Comment sections were flooded with 501st fanboys, and I can admit my 13 to 14-year-old self was part of that group. Catharsis came in August of 2020 when LEGO finally released the 501st Legion Clone Troopers. It was not a battle pack in the classic sense and broke all previously established rules. You got 3 normal 501st Troopers, 1 501st Jet Trooper and 2 battle droids, along with a Bark Speeder and an AT-RT, all for a retail price of $30. It was amazing to finally get this, especially because the clones sported a new design too, and I personally picked up 4 of these. 2021 though left us hanging. In the entirety of that year, not a single battle pack was released, and 2022 only approached the line reluctantly again. The Snowtrooper battle pack was 2022's only official battle pack, and despite it often being overlooked, it was a great battle pack in my opinion, providing fans with some figures very much suited for army building and some really nice builds. The only issue was the new retail price of $20, which sadly set a precedent for all future battle packs. Alongside the Snowtrooper battle pack, LEGO also released 2 minifigure packs though, which adapted the previous retail price of battle packs at $15. One was the opposing side to the previously mentioned battle pack, the Defense of Hoth, which came with 3 rebels, 2 E-Web blasters and a large turret, and the other one was the Clone Trooper Command Station. This set featured a Clone Commander, which appeared a year earlier in the UCS Republic gunship, as well as 2 regular clones, which haven't appeared in any other set since. 2023 advanced LEGO South its way back into battle packs with 2 this time, which were the 501st Clone Troopers and the 332nd Ahsoka's Clone Trooper battle pack. I'm not going to touch on the controversy around helmet holes because I actually have a life, but I wanted to be known that discourse became especially loud around the release of the 332nd battle pack, which was only further fueled by rendering issues. To make a long story short, rendered pictures of the set emphasized the brow on these figures heavily, and people were throwing tantrums despite the figure looking normal like all the previous ones. The 332nd battle pack also featured another named character, Captain Vaughn, which led to even more outcry, but the only differentiating factor was a visor that could easily be taken off. Most were simply happy to get these figures that previously only appeared in the $40 AAT from 2020 in a larger quantity here for a retail price of $20. I personally like the 501st Clone Troopers battle pack even more though, which is one of the only 2 Battlefront 2 sets we've ever gotten. The designs are all based off Battlefront 2 classes, and if you mix these figures with the ones from the first 501st battle pack, you get a beautifully mixed 501st Clone Legion. In 2024, LEGO also released 2 battle packs and kind of reverted back to their 2012-2013 approach. The Ambush on Mandalore battle pack gave us 2 Imperial Commanders as well as 2 Mandalorians and a piece of Mandalorian Caverns. This set can also be connected to the Paz Vizsla and Moff Gideon battle, which is neat. But the highlight of 2024 was undoubtedly the Clone Trooper and Battle Droid battle pack. The clone builds in the set are definitely disappointing, but the Magna Tri-Droid and the Stab do look pretty good, and let's be honest here, no one bought this set for the builds. This is the battle pack with the most figures ever at 9, 6 of them actually having been new in this set. There had been no regular Phase 2 clones since 2014, and this set was the first to introduce them in the new style. In that same vein, there had been no Super Battle Droids featured in any set since 2015, and LEGO introduced them here with an overhauled design too. On June 1st of this year, LEGO will release, or has released depending on when you're watching this, the Death Trooper and Night Trooper battle pack. It's the first battle pack to don the $23 price tag, and also the first to be based off Ahsoka. It's reminiscent of the Imperial Trooper battle pack, given that the figures are essentially the zombified versions of the minifigs from that set, but the build is admittedly very poor. $23 is honestly brutal as well, but the second battle pack releasing this year is predicted to be even more expensive at $40. The Starcore Clone Trooper battle pack will contain 4 327 Clone Troopers, 3 Super Battle Droids and a Spider Droids, according to the leaked information and the picture I saw, which I won't show because I don't want to risk getting a strike, but it'll be linked in the description. Honestly though, I'm not nearly as excited for it, just because it looks really bad from what I saw, and $40 is also a crazy price tag, especially because the first one isn't cheap either at $23. Now you only know about the history of battle packs though, but if you want to know about other sets from LEGO Star Wars history that should definitely be remade, check out the video on screen right now, and until next time, goodbye.